Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk to you tonight about... Do you know what grandiose narcissism is? Well, something I've been thinking about. Well, some people talk fast. Some people talk too fast. A person with grandiose narcissism would appear at a glance to be understanding like one narcissist that is particularly has a level of vulnerability doesn't fall into some DSM, the psychological factor to judging narcissism. See, somebody that has vulnerable narcissism is prone to shame. They're kind of sensitive, sad, and shy. See, with black folk, they just make a lot of jokes. If you observe, have type of vulnerable narcissism, they're not too arrogant, yeah, and potentially grandiose, the person that's going to typically cite vulnerability. It's not like fall into the realm of Machiavellianism in particular. If there's not a clinical diagnosis, a person cannot be rendered to be a narcissistic person. NPD is kind of like undeliberate, when a narcissist is kind of like over what they do. They control their impulses to an extent. See, sometimes there's dog triad with narcissism, psychopathy, and vulnerability. But some of these constructs involve a bit of jealousy. When you are in these different dynamics, people, it's inside of themselves, many people live in a cluster where they have several traits that are inconsistent with the person that's straight right and forward. The person strategically planning to cause one to err or to triangulate one person off another by criticizing a person that's not present, to cause a sort of dislike of this person or criticism, to deflect. Let's say a person was talking about a movie and they say, "Oh, I love this movie. Did you see it?" And they say, "Yes, I did see the movie. But you know, Roger would have loved to see the movie because he's always watching movies and he's always talking about people." How many times do you talk to Roger? Because Roger talks a lot about you and it's not always good. This is something that a narcissist would say. A narcissist would make a typical sentence like this. It's more like an interjection. It's like an unasked for sort of critique. This critique is, the major aim is to rouse a sort of reaction out of a person, and from that reaction to gain a certain ascertainment from that person's emotional consistency, and from that consistency they will find a way to pick and poke at the right moment to find out how to manipulate that person at just the right time, and the other person that's not there would be manipulated at a later date with that person's invulnerability and reaction, yes, calculated by the narcissist based on his intense plans to upset order. This is particularly prevalent in the workplace. So, to comment on talking about a person in a film has blonde hair, it's really nice, isn't too direct. So let's say two dynamics are close relationship. Let's say you asking about this person, and you're wondering about that person's well-being. So they would say, well, Cindy is not as attractive as Linda, because you're definitely not attractive as Cindy, because Linda doesn't like you. Something like that. Something like to invoke jealousy, or saying, yes, you have monoblonic heels on, but Cindy had on monoblonic heels. They were red, and you only have green ones. And she has 2 pair of red ones. You only have green. It rouses jealousy. If no jealousy is there, it's a type of primacy, is to exert their invisible barbs into your chest, into your heart, flesh, meat, and to give an expressive reduction of that reaction. Test. Strengthen relationship. So this construct fits in the same insecure, always talking about people more attracted to you, encourage insecurity, testing relationship, compensating for a lack of self-esteem, provoking irrational action, or trying to make someone make an impulsive move that they would normally make because of a stress reaction. Am I emphasizing this too much? Am I emphasizing not enough? In the dynamic of person-to-person peer cooperation, without any peer studies done or any research actually published, the hearsay for me to, as someone who is not qualified in the psychological sciences, the psychological science is not even real science, would be a sort of conjecturous diatribe into speculating. And it's not a diagnosis, because I am not qualified to diagnose. And then if I was qualified to diagnose, how can I diagnose someone on a computer without that person in front of me to diagnose, or even have the medical capacity to diagnose them without even the utility to diagnose said person? Let's talk more about it. So grandiose narcissists would want to shield their insecurity, to be a false consonant. It's much like how rappers flash money and they want to fight over a chain or booty, or they go in a club, someone steps on their sneakers and they want to shoot them. Say Machiavellianism, but there's no aim there to sort of gain an edge. It's just there like an effrontery, like, if you do this, I'm going to do that. If you do this, I'm going to do that. Tit for tat. And sometimes the reactions are counterbalanced, because it's just like, you spilled juice on my jacket and I'm going to shoot you. So I'm going to go to prison and you are going to lose your life, or have to buy a new shirt, or see, it's a massive trade-off there. It's much like beefing. Yes. Like in a nightclub, nightclubs shut down and nightclubs go on and open. Well, not in California, right? They're all bloody closed. Yeah. So look, it's always an imbalance. Huh? It's like it's actually revenge through reduction of feelings and jealousy, and reacting irrationally, much like a child, but a child with weapons and child with the mind to have depravity and not feel guilty about it. See, there's not too much evidence, but a narcissist would say, I cheated because you cheated, or I cheated because I thought you were cheating, or I thought I should cheat on you to strengthen our relationship. It's a tactical versus harmful jealousy induction, strategic impulsivity, lack of impulsivity, shortfalls of impulsivity, measured measured instability, measured anger, many facets of impulsivity, studies of jealousy induction. They were toward strategic. These behaviors were done as an effrontery to impulsivity, not going to be impulsive, but to give into feelings, but barely premeditated to some action. It's Machiavellianist influences to perform a invulnerable narcissistic event. A vulnerable narcissist has control, revenge, testing relationship, look for security, overcompensating, low self-esteem. This behavior is haphazard, spread out and planned out, exhumed for your pleasure to destroy you. I don't have a degree. I did the best I could. Okay, I did the best I bloody could. What more do you expect? What more do you expect? Well, goodbye and goodbye and goodbye.